Darlene Walter. Do you know her? Probably not. So I decided to show her to the world, to make a documentary about her life.
I told LP I was feeling lost, lacking in some direction. Althea told me about scrutiny, but my back might need protection.
Hello! Do you know Darlene Walter?
Darlene Walter.
Come with me, please, if you have a minute. So, Didi, how did you meet Darlene?
It was a sunny day. The sun was hot as hell. Me and my friends were on the road. Looking at the fields, we saw two girls running. They were skinny as hell. Their bones were almost sticking out. Their eyes were tired. But one could see into their hearts that there was goodness and love that they shared for each other. So we stopped. We gave them food, we gave them water, we gave them shelter. Then, many nights later, they shared their story. Darlene came from prestigious family. Her father and mother didn't approve of her and Lucy's friendship. She met Lucy at her grandmother's house. They were her neighbors, and the two girls formed the most beautiful friendship one could see. Her grandmother was supportive, even though her mother and father forbade them to meet. When Darlene was around 16 years old, she couldn't live like that anymore. Her parents wanted her to marry, wanted her to be a housewife, but she learned the true secret of her heart. She loved Lucy. And one day, they decided to run away.
Lucy, my parents are forcing me to marry that guy. I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I just can't live like this anymore in this household that's abusing me mentally and physically. I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Do you have any idea what to do?
We can go away.
Yeah, we need to. There's no other option. We need to go now.
Okay.
Will you go with me? Yeah.
Yes.
Give my hand. We got this, but well, how can we do this? My parents are right up downstairs.
We have to go there.
Okay, let's go. Oh, don't grab anything. We'll figure something. We just have to run.
Darlene started writing her stories on the road. We traveled through the west coast, down to the south, stopped at the markets, supported all of the protests because people back then didn't believe so much in the power of love, but we saw it. We believed in its power and we wanted to share it with the world. And after some time, Darlene and Lucy decided to settle down. Being on the road is tiresome. So they settled down in the mountains and there lived a peaceful life until Lucy and Darlene died, surrounded by the love and the kindness and the nature.
You won't believe me, but after hours of searching in the wild forest, I found the most passionate historian of all. And I also found myself a beautiful friend. Mr. Smartus, could you please tell us more about the 60s?
Well, as we know, the 60s is a very countercultural decade.
One of the reasons 60s is the most interesting decade is the Vietnam War. It was the first war that the USA was part of since the Second World War. The hippies and other people protested against the war.
The 60s is also a very interesting decade in music. We have the Beatles, Doors, and the Woodstock Festival, which is one of the largest, if not the largest festival till today. We have four of her most famous stories. First one is Bureaucratic Love, which is about music. It is very revolutionary against the bureaucratics. It features Beatles and it was inspired by her friends, which were musicians. Then we have The Trapper Trapped, which is about homosexuality.
It's kind of based on her story. She took her inspiration from her relationship with Lucy.
One of her most famous stories is the Days Before, which is about segregation of the people of color. It is inspired by her childhood because her grandmother neighbors were people of color, and she was very good friend with them, but her parents were very racist. The next, I think this is the best story of them all, is In the Chokehold of Pearls. It's about feminism and it took her inspiration from her parents because she was experiencing discrimination from her parents because she was a girl and her father really didn't like that. He always wanted a boy and she had a hard childhood because of that. Darlene's stories are very touching in their way because she was one of the first feminist and anti-segregation movement starter, and this topic is still very relevant to this day.
And this is where Darlene Walter spent the rest of her life, the last of her years, writing short stories and enjoying the company of her family and dearest friends.
All the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray.
I've been for a walk on a winter's day.
Stopped into a church. I passed along